Niki and Erin, so grateful for your time today. So you guys own and operate the Wellspring Group. Help
Right.
us get to know you guys a little bit. So tell me about yourselves personally, and then tell me about the business, how you built it.
Well, we are the Wellspring Group, despite all of the advice that we were given about
properly naming a company.
Yeah, your real estate company. It should be named after you, right? Well, her last name is Midgett.
It's politically incorrect.
And my last name is Madden, so that's like not a good emotion. You can't be the Mad Midgets.
Even though on the screen it says you're Niki Midgett.
Yeah, it does. It's fine. Yeah, so we went with the Wellspring Group. There's so much to that story. There's actually a lot of symbolism there.
Yeah.
But we launched the Wellspring Group in 2020.
Yeah. Wow. January 1st. It was going to be the best year ever.
Best year ever.
Wow.
And then we all know what happened. So we just started learning.
2 months later, right? Yeah. You started your business in January, and then 2 months later, the world shut down.
We all went to family reunion in February. Everybody came out with a cold that wouldn't go away. I think we were the super spreader event that really kicked it off.
That's right.
And then, the world shut down in March. But when we launched, it was just a team of 2, plus we had a transaction coordinator. And the goal when we combined our individual real estate businesses was not to grow big, but it was to be able to serve clients at a really high level and still be really good moms. I have 2 boys, 15 and 14. And Erin has 3 boys that are just behind me.
Yep, 11, 10, and 12, 10, and 9. 12, 10, and 9.
Yeah.
So we just have stair steps, ding, 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 ding,
yeah.
Which means I get all the hand-me-downs.
That's right. So we wanted to find the balance that we didn't have in our individual real estate businesses. And so we combined, and it allowed us to have that leverage. And then when we combined, we realized that why we combined was because we had very similar core beliefs.
Yeah.
Our faith is very important to us. We wanted to serve people at a really high level. And as we provided that level of service to client after client, the word spread and we organically grew.
I was having a conversation. We have a listing appointment this afternoon with a past client's mother. And I was having a conversation with her the other day. We worked with her originally in 2021, so pretty early on. And she said, you guys have become a household name. And it was just kind of wild to hear. But Niki's right. We didn't set out to do that. But we found something that worked and we stood behind it. And we did it our own way. Sometimes to our detriment, Nate, if I'm being honest with you.
Sometimes we like to figure things out the hard way. And that's what we want to help your agents avoid. We want to teach them what we have learned, building a highly profitable business without having to spend a lot of money. And it's all through authentic marketing.
That's great. And I want to get to that in just a second. But I do want to ask you guys, I think there's probably a lot of people that will listen to this conversation that may have thought about partnering with someone else before for a lot of different reasons, right? Just the ability to go on vacation and have someone else handle their stuff. What was it? Obviously, you guys were friends before you decided to partner. Well, I say obviously, I'm guessing you guys were friends before.
Yeah, not for long though. We met in 2017. So we were in business together by the middle of 2019 because we spent 6 months in our individual businesses building the foundation for the Wellspring Group before we launched.
Got it. That's so cool. And then what was ultimately the deciding factor where you were like, yeah, this is the person I want to partner with and we're going to do this?
I just feel like we inherently knew that we could work together. It was external factors outside of the two of us and in our real estate world that fell into place that weren't supposed to fall into place. Niki was going to move.
Yeah. She
was going to El Paso or West Virginia or something.
My husband's career path had him for his next promotion moving somewhere that wasn't Savannah because they had never promoted for that. It was a national opening. They had never promoted from within the area that they were already living. And he got the promotion and got to stay here. And so that was unheard of. It was unprecedented.
And there's no such thing as coincidence.
There's not. And so we looked at each other. He got that promotion in July and we looked at each other and we're like, are we doing this?
Yeah.
We're doing this. That was pretty easy decision. But we had been drawn to each other from the very beginning because we had the same moral values. We went to the same church, which was 45 minutes away from our house. It was not a very common church to go to. We just had, we were very much similar in a lot of what was the non-negotiables and intangibles.
But because we'd only been friends for 2 years, there was a lot that we didn't know about each other. We were told to plan our divorce first. The attorneys, when we wrote our operating agreement, were like, you should plan your divorce first. We didn't. We did not plan our divorce first. But there's been a lot of growing pains, just like there literally is in a marriage. You know what I mean? Figuring out how to communicate, figuring out whose strengths, whose weaknesses. We use the yes and rule, so if there is a disagreement, it's like, yes, I see your point. And
you and
and then we have hard conversations, honestly, hey, we need to have a hard talk. I did that to you at some point in February.
Yeah.
Hey, hard talk.
And I said something to you yesterday. I'm like, I need you to hear this in love.
Yes. I was like, heard in love.
Got it. We have had other agents in our market come to us. We've had 12 different teams that have met with us, and they have formed partnerships. And only one of them is still around now. So I would say that
we've seen them come and go.
They come on hot and then they go. So I think that a lot of times there's a misalignment of values. There's not clear expectations set up front. And at the end of the day, I love her and I want her family to be as successful or more successful than ours. So no one's going to work harder for her than I am.
That's right. And we serve the same master. And that's really important too.
Alignment on so many levels. So I want to talk about magnetic marketing in a second. But before I press record, you were saying you turned a client down today. You don't have to get into the specifics, but how often does that happen? And tell me what that looks like.
In the last 8 months, we have turned more clients down than we ever have in the history of our business, which is counterintuitive to
killing our productivity
than what the market says, because the market is hard here too. But one thing that we have become very, very clear on is that if they're not culturally aligned, or they're not aligned with our values from the very beginning, or if we sense the red flags that we can tell that we are not going to be able to give them that 5-star customer experience, then it's not going to be a good fit. It's going to be stressful. It's going to be more work. They're going to be frustrated. We're going to be frustrated. And it's not fair to them to let them work with us when we're not going to be able to meet their expectations.
How long into your partnership did you feel like you were in a position where you could say no? Right out of the gate? Or did this take
no. And I think that's the fallacy there is you can choose to say no early on, right? Your business. But when you're first getting started, you're not really saying no to people. You're trying to build a business. We weren't dialed in on what the core values were from the very beginning, but truly we also weren't aware until 4.5 years in, 4 years in, that when it was really difficult, when those clients were really difficult, what is the ultimate problem? The ultimate problem is that our core values are not in alignment.
Yeah.
And I mentioned before we got started, Nate, ultimately we love every single one of the people that calls us. And Niki said, we want them to have a 5-star experience. We truly want that. And if we know that we're not going to be able to provide that, then we don't want them to work with the Wellspring Group. We want them to work with a company that they are in alignment with.
Yeah.
But you have to come from a place of love, right? That's where I think people miss out on, this is the most important sales skill that you can develop, loving the leads.
Yeah.
You truly love the leads. And when you truly love the leads, you know that not all of them are meant for you.
That's right. And we actually had an experience about 18 months ago where we had interviewed for a listing. And it was the client from the time we walked in, sometimes you just jive with people, sometimes you don't, and you can kind of feel a little bit of not really the typical client that we're going to work with, but we're going to give it our all. So after we left a listing appointment, he had some more follow-up questions, which honestly is really unusual. Usually we walk away and they're like, sign the paperwork. You answered all my questions. So he he kept asking for more, and he wanted more, and he wanted more. And finally, on the third phone call, I was like, I don't think that there's anything that our team can do that will ever give you a 5-star experience. I think you probably need to work with a different agent, and we're happy to make recommendations. Well, he had someone else in mind already. He was also interviewing, but he was so impressed by that he referred us to his neighbor, who we sold their house, helped them buy a new one, and we're getting ready to list it again. So like the way you do it, if you come, he knew I genuinely meant it, and we got a referral that's over and over and over paid us.
That's super cool. What I heard you say is like core values can help you find your people, but having the ability to say no is just really, really powerful.
Well, at core values ultimately become a filter by which we make every decision, both personally and professionally. And the good news, Nate, is that we're going to help every single person in our class establish their core values. So if they don't have it yet, have no fear. You will on March the 23rd.
That's right.
That's perfect. Amazing segue. Talk to me about what we're going to do. So you're going to be here on Monday, March 23rd. It's a 3-hour workshop, right?
We're going to work.
What are we going to do?
Hey, I want to mention before, like, why is it a workshop? Why is it 3 hours?
Yeah.
Magnetic marketing is designed to both attract and repel leads, right? Not every single lead is going to be the best fit to work with us, just like we were discussing just a minute ago. And so we have named the way that we market magnetic marketing because we know that what we put out, particularly as it relates to content online, people are going to be attracted to, and people are going to watch it and be like, not them.
We had someone tell us we are obnoxiously optimistic. You know what? You're probably not going to want to work with us, and that's fine. That's great.
What a great thing to be called, by the way.
It is a good thing to have both sides of the magnet. It's a good thing. That's right. So when we get into our workshop together, we're going to talk about building a marketing machine, because I think a lot of agents, we've been there, get stuck in that trap of like, I can't take a vacation. I can't take a day off. I can't even sit at the baseball field without my computer.
The business only moves forward when they have the motivation and when they feel like putting themselves out there. And when you create a machine that's constantly working behind the scenes, you can have a highly profitable business that pulls in clients that are easy to work with because they align with what your core values are and what you want to work with, who you're targeting, and it helps you become highly profitable because you're not spending a ton of money on having to pay for leads. They're coming to you.
The marketing machine, Nate, it creates predictability. It creates familiarity. That's really important because that familiarity and trust, for that matter, the familiarity and trust make these leads so much easier to convert.
They come in converted. They have like pre-converted themselves.
And then compounding growth beyond that. And that's what allows us to go on vacation and not feel like the business is going to fall apart while we're gone. So we're going to help the agents build this marketing machine. And there's 5 different parts that we're going to work through. So we've got
it's a workbook.
Yeah. I mean, it's a solid 22 pages.
And everybody will have time to work on each section there. We'll be there to answer questions. The first hour, we're going to set the stage, and then the last hour and a half we'll spend working, and then we'll have time at the end for questions.
That's so good. So when you talk about core values, are we going to finish that in the class, or is that more like, hey, this is for you to start thinking about because core values take time? Like tell me.
We're going to start there.
Yeah. It's the basis for everything we build off of. And we taught this class back in January, and one of the agents, when we said this, she audibly gasped and she was like, why? And we have both been on the phone with her in the last 24 hours answering different questions that she had, because she's like, I'm implementing. I'm so excited. By the end of the class, she's like, this should be a CE. So it's so important because it's the foundation of who you are as an agent, who you want to be known for, what you want people to say about you when you're not around. You're putting that out there. That's how you're attracting who you want to work with, who's going to be easy to work with. And you have to be crystal clear on your non-negotiables and who you want to work with. And I just want to caveat, when we talk about our core values and what's important to us. I think some people would hear that as discriminatory, or you only work with people who are like you, and that's not it at all. We are, one of our foundations is, like Erin talked about, is love, and we are so grateful for all the clients. And it doesn't mean that everybody perfectly aligns, but it does mean that who we attract the most are going to be those easy clients to convert and get to closing and create raving fans, because at the end of the day, that's the goal.
That's so good. And then let me just ask you like a tactical question. So this, like, I think the why is important, the values are important. Are you guys going to lay out like what is the structure of your marketing engine? So how do you leverage social platforms? What does your email marketing look like? What CRM do you use, and what's your cadence for that? Are we going to get into all of that as well?
That's not really where we're going with the class. We have all of those things. We have a written marketing plan that's in our drive. And at the end of the class, there's like a QR code. It's like, hey, scan this if you want to get all this stuff out of our drive. Perfect. Because that just makes it easy, right? We actually learned a really great lesson from the one and only Andy Peters, that ripping off and duplicating it's what R&D stands for, not research and development.
Yeah.
But what we want to do is help agents build this for themselves. Can you rip off and duplicate our stuff? Totally. But really, if you rip off and duplicate us, it's not you.
It's not authentic.
Yeah.
And authenticity is crucial here. So we'll start by helping people identify what their brand is. And that's the first piece of the marketing machine. We get that wrong as agents. We do not really understand what branding is.
We think our brand is our colors, our logo, our font, our name, all of that.
And that's part of it. That's part of it. But your brand is ultimately what people say about you when you're not in the room. It's your reputation. And that's why we start branding with core values, because this is what you are using to establish your reputation.
So at the end of this, we're going to have, by the end of the workbook, you'll have ideas for what you want to put out there online in your marketing to help people be crystal clear. So if any of your agents went to family reunion and heard Donald Miller talk, we have built in 2023, we blew up our marketing plan. And we had read this book, and we redid everything.
This is the OG.
Book. Yeah,
we got 2.0 at family reunion. So we're going to go through branding. We're going to help people build content pillars. What is it that when you're publishing content online, whether that is a newsletter that you're sending out or you're posting on social media or whatever that looks like, that you have content pillars that you're sticking to instead of just like throwing things at the wall, right? Throwing spaghetti at the wall and hoping that it sticks.
Because consistency in marketing is how you keep your audience engaged. If you're inconsistent, you're training them to forget you. So those pillars help you become consistent in the messaging and the marketing that you're putting out there.
That's so good. That's I got to meet Donald at family reunion, and I am like, he's been a hero of mine since I read that. I think I read that book in 2017. And yeah, what's interesting is, like, this is totally aside, but like being in the brokerage environment, I really haven't viewed our brokerage environment through that lens. Family reunion, I was like, wait a second, what am I doing? It was like, it's, the whole hero, character. It's like, it gave me a refreshed view of what I do, my role is here, and how we tell our story here. So I was very thankful for that.
We're going to tell our story, the Wellspring story of high peaks and valleys, and how we got to the point where we blew up our marketing plan and implemented this. And this is the foundation for the class that we teach.
I will spoiler alert. We read this book after we missed MREA by like $7,000.
Yeah.
Painful.
Yeah.
Painful. But do you know what? We realized there was a whole lot wrapped up in us. We started reading the book and we're like, oh, we're the heroes of the story. Niki, we're the hero. We're the hero.
Yeah.
We need to redo everything.
That's so good. And that is top of mind here, because I spent about a half an hour yesterday in our team meeting talking about Storybrand and starting to build your business around this idea. So there's a lot.
A deep dive.
Yes, and we're going to bring some giveaways. So if there are folks that are like, "What is Storybrand? I miss team meeting."
Yeah.
Listen, we love participation, and we are not above
bribery.
Right.
I love it, and our agents love it too. So
we're really excited, Nate. We're really excited. It's going to be a great day. We have a tremendous amount of energy. If you can't feel it,
yeah,
through the podcast, we're definitely going to bring it on Monday, the 23rd.
Awesome. That's great. Well, we're so grateful. And any parting thoughts before we jump off here?
Yeah, I think that they should know that this is absolutely necessary that they attend, because this is going to radically transform how they look at their business and how they consider marketing and what they're doing very purposefully after the fact.
We started teaching this specific class. This class was born out of another class that we taught, and we heard people keep giving us feedback. We want a marketing specific class. And we've taught this for 2 months now. And
2 whole months.
The success stories that we're already hearing just from people who've attended and implemented are really encouraging.
Awesome. That's so great. Well, y'all, we will see you on Monday, the 23rd. Thank you so much for your time here, helping us tell the story. We're looking forward to it.
Thank you. We'll see you guys soon.